Sleep quality is not decided only by how long you sleep, but how deeply and consistently you sleep. Most people believe that lying in bed for 7 to 8 hours means their sleep is complete. Science clearly shows this is not true. What matters is whether your body successfully enters deep sleep, slow-wave sleep, and REM sleep multiple times during the night. Each night, the human brain works in cycles. One complete sleep cycle lasts about 90 minutes. In every cycle, your brain passes through light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. For proper recovery, the body needs 4 to 5 uninterrupted cycles. If your sleep is disturbed by phone notifications, stress, noise, or late-night screen exposure, these cycles break. When a cycle breaks, the brain must restart from the beginning. This is why many people wake up tired even after long sleep hours. Deep sleep is where physical repair happens. Muscles recover, tissues heal, immunity strengthens, and growth hormones are released. REM sleep is where mental repair happens. Memory improves, emotions stabilize, creativity increases, and decision-making becomes sharper. When deep sleep reduces, the brain cannot clean itself properly. Toxic waste proteins start accumulating. Over time, this increases the risk of memory loss, anxiety, depression, heart disease, and neurodegenerative disorders. This is why sleep deprivation affects judgment and reaction time more than alcohol. Studies show that staying awake for 18 hours straight produces impairment similar to being legally drunk. Sleep is also tightly connected to hormones. Poor sleep increases cortisol, stress hormone, and ghrelin, hunger hormone, while reducing leptin, satiety hormone. This imbalance leads to overeating, cravings, fat storage, and weight gain. That is why people who sleep less tend to gain weight, even if their diet remains the same. Your brain also measures sleep consistency. Sleeping at different times every day confuses your internal clock. This disrupts melatonin release, the hormone responsible for making you feel sleepy. Once melatonin rhythm breaks, insomnia becomes chronic. Good sleep is not accidental. It is trained. Your body learns when to sleep, when to rest, and when to recover based on your daily habits. Light exposure in the morning, physical activity during the day, controlled screen usage at night, and mental calm before bed together shape your sleep quality. Sleep is not something you try to do. Sleep is something you allow your body to enter. And when the body is given the right conditions, sleep comes naturally. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to force sleep. Sleep cannot be forced. The harder you try to sleep, the more alert your brain becomes. This happens because effort activates the sympathetic nervous system, the same system responsible for alertness and survival. For sleep to begin, the body must shift into the parasympathetic nervous system, also called the rest and recovery mode. This shift happens only when the brain senses safety, calmness, and predictability. This is why routine is extremely powerful. When you go to bed at the same time every night, your brain starts releasing melatonin before you even reach the bed. Over time, sleep becomes automatic. When bedtime keeps changing, the brain never learns when to shut down. Another critical factor is body temperature. Human sleep evolved around a drop in core body temperature. If the body is too warm, the brain resists sleep. This is why cooler environments lead to deeper sleep. Even a reduction of 1 to 2 degrees Celsius can significantly improve deep sleep duration. Hot showers before bed may feel relaxing, but the real benefit comes after you step out. As the body cools down rapidly, it signals the brain that sleep time has arrived. Light exposure is another powerful regulator. The brain uses light, not clocks, to decide day and night. Blue light from phones, tablets, and LEDs suppresses melatonin production. Even short exposure close to bedtime can delay sleep by hours. This does not mean screens are evil. It means timing matters. Light in the morning strengthens your sleep at night. Light at night weakens it. Sleep quality is also deeply affected by mental load. The brain cannot rest while unresolved thoughts are active. This is why anxiety and overthinking peak at night. Writing down worries before bed reduces brain activity by externalizing those thoughts. Breathing patterns directly influence sleep onset. Slow, controlled breathing lowers heart rate and blood pressure. It tells the brain there is no immediate danger. Scientific imaging shows that when breathing slows, the amygdala, the brain's fear center, reduces activity. This is why breathing techniques are effective, not because they are relaxing, but because they alter brain chemistry. Another overlooked factor is caffeine timing. Caffeine blocks adenosine, the chemical that creates sleep pressure. The half-life of caffeine is 6 to 8 hours, meaning afternoon coffee can still affect midnight sleep. Even if you feel sleepy, your brain chemistry may still be disrupted. Alcohol is often misunderstood as a sleep aid. While it may help you fall asleep faster, it severely reduces REM sleep. Alcohol fragments sleep cycles, leading to early awakenings and poor mental recovery. Exercise improves sleep, but timing matters. Morning and afternoon exercise enhances sleep depth. Intense late-night workouts increase adrenaline and delay sleep onset. Sleep debt cannot be fully repaid on weekends. Oversleeping disrupts circadian rhythm further. The brain prefers consistency over compensation. Quality sleep is not luxury. It is a biological requirement as essential as oxygen and water. When sleep improves, attention sharpens, emotions stabilize, immunity strengthens, and long-term disease risk decreases. Everything else, productivity, motivation, memory, and focus, follows sleep. One of the most underestimated elements of sleep is sleep pressure. Sleep pressure is created by a chemical called adenosine. The longer you stay awake, the more adenosine builds up in the brain. When adenosine reaches a certain level, the brain demands sleep. Problems begin when people interrupt this natural buildup. Daytime naps longer than 20 to 30 minutes reduce adenosine levels. This weakens sleep pressure at night, making it harder to fall asleep even if you feel tired. Short power naps are acceptable, but long naps shift your sleep chemistry. Another factor that silently damages sleep is irregular meal timing. Your digestive system and sleep system are tightly connected. Eating heavy meals late at night keeps insulin levels high, which interferes with melatonin release. The brain interprets digestion as a daytime activity. Hydration also plays a role. Dehydration increases cortisol, the stress hormone. Elevated cortisol directly blocks sleep initiation. At the same time, excessive water intake right before bed causes sleep fragmentation due to nighttime awakenings. The brain prefers balance, not extremes. Noise is another underestimated disruptor. Even if noise does not fully wake you, it can pull the brain out of deep sleep into lighter stages. Smell also influences sleep. Certain smells reduce nervous system activity by directly affecting the limbic system. Posture matters more than people think. Sleeping positions influence breathing quality, spinal alignment, and oxygen delivery. Another major disruptor is social jet lag. Sleeping late on weekends and waking early on weekdays confuses the circadian clock. Sleep quality is not measured by hours alone. Two people sleeping 8 hours can have completely different recovery levels. Deep sleep repairs the body. REM sleep repairs the mind. Modern lifestyles reduce both. Artificial lighting delays melatonin. Chronic stress suppresses deep sleep. Overstimulation reduces REM sleep. This is why people say, "I slept, but I'm still tired." When sleep architecture breaks down, the brain compensates by increasing cravings. Fixing sleep reverses many problems people try to solve with motivation, discipline, or willpower. Sleep is not passive rest. It is an active biological process controlled by precise timing, chemistry, and neural signaling. When these systems align, sleep becomes effortless. When they don't, no amount of effort can replace it. Another critical but rarely discussed factor is sleep consistency. The brain does not care how tired you feel. It responds to patterns. Going to bed and waking up at different times trains the circadian clock to stay unstable. An unstable clock delays melatonin at night and cortisol in the morning. This is why people feel alert late at night and exhausted after waking. The circadian rhythm is controlled by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, in the brain. This structure uses light exposure, temperature, and timing to regulate sleep hormones. When signals conflict, the SCN delays sleep initiation even if the body is physically tired. Light timing matters more than light intensity. Morning light exposure anchors the circadian rhythm. Without it, the brain assumes it is still nighttime. This delays alertness during the day and sleepiness at night. People who stay indoors most of the day often develop delayed sleep cycles without realizing it. Another overlooked factor is mental load before sleep. The brain processes unresolved tasks as potential threats. This increases norepinephrine and dopamine activity, keeping the brain in problem-solving mode. Writing tasks down before bed reduces this neural activity. This is not psychological relief. It is a measurable reduction in cognitive arousal. Breathing patterns during the day also affect sleep at night. Chronic shallow breathing increases carbon dioxide sensitivity. This makes the brain more likely to trigger micro-awakenings during sleep. Slow nasal breathing trains the nervous system to tolerate higher CO2 levels, reducing nighttime arousals. Sleep fragmentation is more damaging than short sleep duration. Waking briefly multiple times prevents the brain from completing full sleep cycles. Many people believe they sleep continuously when they do not. Alcohol worsens this effect. While it induces sleep initially, it suppresses REM sleep and increases awakenings later in the night. The brain enters lighter sleep states to metabolize alcohol. This is why alcohol sleep feels deep but leaves the body unrestored. Body temperature decline is a biological requirement for sleep onset. The brain triggers sleep only after core body temperature drops. Hot showers raise body temperature briefly, but the post-shower cooling accelerates sleep onset. This cooling signal tells the brain that nighttime has arrived. Clothing and bedding also influence heat dissipation. Over-insulation traps heat and delays deep sleep entry. The brain prioritizes thermoregulation over recovery. Another factor is eye position. During REM sleep, the eyes move rapidly. Excess screen exposure before bed overstimulates the visual cortex, delaying REM entry later in the night. Sleep deprivation also alters pain perception. The brain becomes more sensitive to discomfort. Minor physical sensations feel amplified, making sleep even harder. Sleep quality directly influences hormone balance. Testosterone, growth hormone, and insulin sensitivity are regulated during deep sleep. Missing deep sleep shifts metabolism toward fat storage and muscle loss. Children, adults, and older individuals all require deep sleep, but aging reduces deep sleep naturally. However, lifestyle factors accelerate this loss far beyond normal aging. Stress, late light exposure, and irregular schedules are the primary accelerants. Sleep is governed by biology, not discipline. The brain will not obey commands. It follows signals. When signals are aligned, sleep happens automatically. When signals are disrupted, effort fails. Every major function you care about, learning speed, fat loss, muscle recovery, emotional control, creativity, reaction time, and long-term survival, is regulated by sleep quality, not willpower. When sleep cycles are complete and uninterrupted, the brain shifts into maintenance mode automatically. When they are broken, damage accumulates silently. The danger is that poor sleep does not hurt immediately. It compounds slowly, like interest, until the body fails. Fixing sleep is not about discipline. It is about alignment with how the nervous system actually works. Once sleep is corrected, energy returns naturally. When sleep becomes stable and deep, the body automatically resets its internal systems. Hormones rebalance. Inflammation drops. Memory consolidates. The brain clears toxic waste. The nervous system shifts from survival mode into repair mode. This is why no supplement can replace sleep. If you wake up tired or crave junk food, the problem is not lack of effort. It is fragmented sleep cycles. The goal is not just more hours in bed. The goal is unbroken cycles of deep sleep and REM sleep. Once you protect those cycles consistently, the changes feel almost unfair. Falling asleep becomes automatic. Waking up feels lighter. This is not optimization. This is returning the body to its natural operating state. Sleep is the system that makes life work. The human brain evolved long before alarms and artificial light. It evolved to respond to darkness, silence, repetition, and safety. Every time we ignore these signals, we force the brain to stay alert when it is designed to shut down. That constant alertness turns into exhaustion. Sleep cannot be forced. Sleep is a passive process. It happens when resistance drops. Athletes create the conditions and sleep follows. Breathing slows the nervous system. Stillness tells the brain there is no emergency. Darkness signals melatonin. These are biological switches. The brain processes unresolved emotions during REM sleep. When REM is cut short, emotional tension spills into the next day. Over weeks of high-quality sleep, decision-making becomes calmer. Confidence increases because the brain is no longer operating in survival mode. Growth does not happen during effort. Growth happens during recovery. Sleep is where the body rebuilds muscle and rewires the brain. Skipping it is like skipping maintenance on a machine you expect to run perfectly every day. You do not need extreme routines. You only need respect for the process. Sleep is the time where the body prepares you to live better when you are awake. Another major factor is sleep pressure, also known as adenosine buildup. Adenosine is a chemical that accumulates in the brain the longer you stay awake. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors. It does not remove sleep pressure, it hides it. When caffeine wears off, accumulated adenosine hits all at once. Physical activity increases adenosine buildup in a healthy way. People who are sedentary often struggle to fall asleep because sleep pressure remains low. However, intense workouts late at night raise adrenaline and core temperature, delaying sleep. The timing of exercise matters more than intensity. Sleep posture also affects sleep quality. Poor neck alignment reduces blood flow. Breathing through the mouth lowers oxygen efficiency. Nasal breathing maintains airway pressure and stabilizes sleep cycles. This is why chronic mouth breathers often wake up unrefreshed. Noise does not have to wake you fully to damage sleep. The brain continues monitoring the environment. Inconsistent noise is more disruptive. Sleep timing impacts memory formation. Information learned shortly before sleep is consolidated more efficiently. Sleep deprivation prevents this transfer. Dreaming during REM sleep regulates emotional responses. When REM sleep is shortened, emotional reactivity increases. Small problems feel overwhelming. Chronic sleep loss increases inflammatory markers in the body. Inflammation damages blood vessels and accelerates aging. Sleep also controls appetite hormones. Sleep deprivation raises ghrelin and suppresses leptin simultaneously, creating intense cravings. Sleep deprivation reduces impulse control. The brain's prefrontal cortex becomes less active, while reward centers become more dominant. Sleep regularity is more important than sleep duration. Sleeping late on weekends disrupts circadian alignment, creating social jet lag. Sleep quality improves when the brain associates the bed only with sleep. Using the bed for scrolling trains the brain to stay alert. Temperature of the extremities matters. Warming hands and feet improves blood flow and accelerates core temperature drop, helping sleep onset. Sleep is not a single process. It is a sequence of neurological events. When one signal is missing, the entire sequence becomes unstable.